Testing. All right, so today we're going to talk about toe. And toe, not about my foot or your foot. We're going to talk about the toe on a vehicle. So we're going to talk about the alignment angle on this vehicle. So let me see if I can get this a little better set up. We'll go there. All right. Get all this figured out. There we go. All right, so we're looking at my wife's van. Talking about toe. Toe is talking about the front of this tire pointing out or pointing inwards. Now, when it regards to toe, that's a really simple alignment to adjust. It is also one that causes the most customer complaints. Now, it doesn't cause pulling, but it causes the steering wheel to be crooked. So when you're driving down the road, you won't feel a pull because of toe, unless it's really bad, but you will have an offset steering wheel so that the wheels will self-center. So what are some of the things that we will see in toe? Generally, you won't see too much wear in the tire pattern. You might see some feathering, but majority of it is just the steering wheel being off. So what do we do to fix toe? Toe is controlled by the tie rod, and I'll bring the camera down here in a minute to show that. But the tie rod will adjust depending on if it's in front of the center of the hub or in the back. You can adjust it in and out to create in or toe out. Now, there's another term, it's called total toe. Total toe is the measurement from the out to out or in to in. So that way you know the total number of it. Now, on vehicles, you'll need to know that for front and rear. We always start with our alignment in the rear when we set it up on the alignment rack, and then you move forward. So this way we set the rear, and then we can adjust the front to match. So that way we have minimized the crab walking, dog tracking, or making sure that our thrust ankle is straight. So how do we adjust this or check at home other than driving and looking at the steering wheel? Well, I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned a long time ago on how to check toe on your vehicle. So I brought the vehicle in. Now there's a few items, and you will have to do this at home, that you will need. Two of them are optional, but one you will need. Okay, so the first one you want is a tape measure. So on this tape measure, this one's 16 feet, so that's plenty to get from one side of the car to the other side. And now, another thing you want, I use garbage bags. You can use other things. Other people will wet the floor down. So what the idea is we bring the car in and we want to make any adjustments. If we have any issues or binding, it will cause the car to stress or hold up the suspension or the steering components, and you won't be able to get a good measurement. So you want to make sure it's able to move around easily. So I use plastic garbage bags that I can slip under here, and that the car can roll back and forth easily. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to back up the van a little bit, set these down. So I'm just going to set them right here in front of the wheel for now. Back the vehicle up, and then I'll go from there on the instructions. Okay, so I've put the car on the plates or plastic bags. Now I want to make some measurements. The first thing I did as I rolled the car up is I set the steering wheel so I made sure it looked nice and level prior to driving on, and then when I got onto the plastic I made sure it was nice and level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up the car and I'm going to turn the steering wheel so you can see how the bag is helping us on making our alignment adjustments. Okay? Okay, sorry, the bag was not in view, but it now prevents friction on the wheel as you make those adjustments. So now what we need to do is we need to make some measurements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape measure, okay, and then I got to go to the center of the tire. So now whatever you pick as your mark is what you want to use every time. Okay, so if we're going to go all the way out here, then you got to use that on the opposite side. If you go to the tread line, opposite side. Okay, same on the back, because we're going to measure across the front, marking somewhere on the tire, okay, from this side to the other side, and we're going to make a measurement, okay, and then we want to go to the other side. Now we want to be within 1/8 of an inch, okay. These alignments are even more pickier than that, especially with the cars that have ADAS systems, meaning accident avoidance and assisted driving. Those things have to be calibrated after you do an alignment. So if your vehicle has lane correction or any of this, you don't make any adjustments until you have a computer to do so. But this minivan here does not. So I can make some quick, small adjustments here at home to get the car fixed. So let's go ahead and make a quick measurement, and so that we can see where the car sits. Okay? Okay, so now I've set it up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure from one side to the other. So I'm going to kind of get under the car here, and I'm just going to grab onto the center line of the tread. There's a nice bead there. I can get the tape measure to grab. There we go. And then I'm going to come over to this side. I want to make a recording. Okay. I have 65 and 15/16. Like I said, we got to go all the way down to the 16th. I might have said the 1/8 of an inch. We want to go to the 16th of an inch. Okay. So 65. So we want to go. So on this one, just the front is 65 and 15/16. So almost 66 of an inch. There's a 16th off. Okay. So now I'm going to measure the back of the tire from the same spots, but on the back side of the tire. So this one will be a little trickier because you have the frame and all that stuff in the way. So a helper would be helpful to hold the tape measure on one side as you grab the other. Mine are inside doing homework, so you'll just have to bear with it. Alright, glare in the back, we'll fix that next time. So on the back side, I got 65 and 7/8. So that's a difference of a 16th of an inch. So that means that my tires are which? So if the number in the back of the tire is smaller and the ones in the front are bigger, that would mean what? Okay, so smaller and bigger. So that means my car is towed out. By what? A 16th of an inch. Now, is that what it should be, or should it be zeroed? Well, that's a good question. If it's zeroed, does that cause the wheel to do anything? Well, it should be level. Okay, we're towed out. We're not towed like this, we're not towed like that. We're towed slightly out. But as I pick up speed, will that pull my wheels straight or will it make it worse? Okay, that's one of the questions you'll have to answer, denoting on showing proof that you watched this video. Is, does it make it worse on a front wheel drive? Now this minivan's front wheel drive, it makes a difference. If it's front wheel drive or rear wheel drive, and we're measuring just the front toe, and it's towed out a 1/16 of an inch, is that supposed to, as I pick up speed, center or get worse? So you have to answer that question in Google Hangout, or not Google Hangout, but in Google Classroom. Okay, so there we go. We did a basic measurement of toe. Now, when you guys do this, this is an assignment you have to do at home, and you will do it with a tape measure. Okay, you don't have to use the garbage bags because we're just doing a basic measurement. We're not making adjustments. Adjustments, you want that. For measurements, it's okay. Just make sure the steering wheel is level. You're on a level driveway as best you can get. And you're going to measure from one tire to the other tire on the front and then on the back of the tire. Okay, and you have to record that. Now I want you to go down to the 16th. Now if you have to remember how to read the tape measure, look up several videos. I'll probably throw one on Google Classroom that I enjoy on how to read the tape measure. So once you have those measurements, you will then submit that with your worksheet that I'll have on Google Classroom at the end of this video. So you have that, plus you have an assignment on electrode to do about toe. And this is where you're going to learn about if having toe out on a front wheel drive vehicle is a good thing or should you have toe in. Okay? So those are the things that you're going to look up through learning on electrode. Once you have completed the learning segment of electrode, you're going to then do the quiz. Remember, you get one attempt on the quiz. Okay. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I needed to share with you guys on this? Now, we're going to do toe today. That's what we just finished learning about, is how to measure from toe. Remember, front of the tire, rear of the tire, same spots on both sides. Don't go odd spots. Okay? And then you're going to use those measurements. You're going to verify having a toe out on a front wheel drive vehicle is good or bad. You're going to do the worksheets or the learning on electrode and the quiz, and then you're going to do it on your own vehicle. All of this is due by Sunday. I will give you a week, more or less. On Wednesday, when we meet again at 9 o'clock, we will then learn about camber. Now, camber is talking about like the Hondas, the tires are tipped in or out. And what does it do to our tires? What does it do to the alignment, the suspension of the vehicle, the pros and cons of it? Now, this is not personal preference of looks, where a lot of cars do it just being silly. We are talking about the actual purpose of having a cambered car in regards to making turns and stuff. So this one, you'll need a tape measure. On your next assignment, you'll need your cell phone that has an angle finder on it, so an app. So go ahead and work with your parents, if you have to download an angle finder on your phone prior to Wednesday, so that way you have an idea. I'm not going to suggest any particular one. I have one that I use. I can't remember. I think it's through Ryobi, but just find them. There's plenty of them on Apple phones and Android products, so it's okay. So that's where we're going to leave off. I will stick around through Google Hangout if you have any additional questions on this lesson. Okay, thank you.